What did my father do?
Your father, out of desperation, made a covenant, a blood oath with the village ancient shrine. For power, protection, and wealth.
You know that every covenant demands a price.
Yes, and Amaka, you are the price.
Mother, did you call me last night?
No,
Mama, did you?
if you hear your name, please do not answer it.
In the quiet village of Umuofia, where the earth was red and the nights whispered secrets, lived a young girl named Amaka. Amaka was known for her gentle heart and quiet strength. Her laughter was soft, but her presence was felt. She lived with her mother, Nneka, a woman shaped by hardship and silence. Her father had died before she was old enough to know him. His name was Chinedu. To Amaka, he was nothing more than a fading memory, told true stories. A hard-working man, loving but troubled in his final days. Nneka barely spoke about him, and when she did, her voice carried a weight she could never fully explain. What Amaka never knew was the truth behind his death. Amaka had only one true friend. His name was Obi. Obi was brave, stubborn, and fiercely protective. He had grown up under the shadow of his own father, a man the villagers once respected and later feared. His name was Okeke. Years before Amaka was born, both men, Chinedu and Okeke, faced the same desperation. The rains had abandoned their village. Their crops died beneath the burning sun, and hunger sat silently at every doorstep. Desperation drove them to the same forbidden place. Deep within the forest stood the ancestral shrine, ancient, powerful, and feared by all. Together, they entered the forbidden shrine. Together, they fell to their knees, and with trembling voices, they made a covenant, a blood oath that changed everything. They asked for wealth, protection, and a better future for their families. The shrine answered. Soon after, their lives changed. Their farms flourished. Wealth came. Respect returned. But peace did not, because every covenant demands a price. Day by day, Chinedu's strength faded. He would wake in the night, trembling, whispering to voices no one else could hear. His once strong body became weak and fragile, as though something unseen was draining the life from him. And then one night, he died, quietly, but not peacefully. Days later, Okeke was found at the edge of the forest, his eyes wide open, as if he had seen something beyond this world. The villagers buried both men in silence. No one spoke of what they had done. No one warned the next generation. And so, the truth was buried with them. That night, the voice called her name. Her fate began to unfold. Something ancient awakened. That was what Amaka remembered most clearly. Everything else, the darkness, the silence, the way her heart suddenly began to race, felt like fragments of a dream. But the stillness was real. Amaka lay on her raffia mat, her body heavy with sleep, when she heard it. Amaka! Her eyes snapped open. She did not move at first. The air in the room felt thick, as though something unseen had stepped inside and was watching her. Slowly, she turned her head towards the small window. The moonlight stretched across the mud wall, silent and unmoving. Then the voice came again, closer this time. "Come to me." Amaka sat up, her long braided hair falling over her shoulders. Her chest rose and fell rapidly as she listened, straining to hear anything beyond the pounding of her own heartbeat. But nothing. No footsteps, no rustling trees, not even the unusual chorus of night incense. Only silence. Morning came with the smell of boiling yam and palm oil, but Amaka could not shake the unease that clung to her. She found her mother, Nneka, by the fire, stirring a pot with slow, practiced movements. The older woman's grey streaked hair was wrapped tightly beneath her scarf, her face lined with the quiet strength of someone who had endured too much. "Mother," Amaka began, hesitating, "did you call me last night?" Nneka did not answer immediately. The spoon in her hand stopped moving. Slowly, she turned. "No," she said. Amaka hesitated before speaking. "I heard someone called my name." The silence that followed was heavier than any answer.
Answer it.
Nneka's eyes darkened, and when she spoke again, her voice was sharp, too sharp. "If you hear anything calling you at night, you do not answer it, and you do not follow it. Do you hear me?" Something in her tone made Amaka nod. Though confusion stirred deep inside her, she should have asked more questions. She did not. That night, the wind returned. It slipped through the trees, whispering against the rooftops, brushing softly against Amaka's skin as she lay awake. She had tried to sleep, but the memory of the voice would not leave her. Then, "Amaka," her breath caught. She did not want to respond. She did not want to listen, but her body betrayed her. She sat up. The voice came again, low and certain. "You belong to me." Her feet touched the ground before her mind could resist. Slowly, as though pulled by invisible hands, she rose and walked towards the door. Outside, the night stretched endlessly before her. The village was asleep, but the forest seemed awake, calling, waiting. Amaka stepped forward, barefoot, unaware. She did not know how long she had been walking when a hand suddenly gripped her arm. "Amaka," she gasped, her body trembling suddenly as if waking from a deep dream. Obi stood before her, his face tight with worry, his grip firm. "Where are you going?" he demanded. Amaka blinked, disoriented. The trees around them loomed tall and dark. The path beneath her feet was unfamiliar. I don't know," she whispered. Obi's eyes searched her face, unsettled. Then he followed her gaze. Ahead of them, barely visible through the shadows, stood something ancient, a shrine. From that moment, nothing was ever the same again. The voice did not stop. It grew stronger and clearer. It began to follow her into the daylight, slipping into her thoughts, coiling around her mind like smoke. You were promised. The words echoed endlessly. Amaka began to change. She would forget things mid-sentence, stood still for long moments, staring at nothing. Sometimes her lips would move as though she were speaking, but no sound would come out. And other times, she would answer. Obi tried to protect her. He followed her at night, watched her during the day, and questioned the elders. But the more he searched, the deeper the silence grew. Until one night, he followed her all the way to the shrine. The air there felt wrong, heavy, alive. The moment Amaka stepped into the clearing, the fire light itself. No flame, no spark, just sudden blazing light. Obi froze. Amaka, he whispered. She did not respond. Her body froze. Her head turned slightly as though listening. I was promised. The voice that came from her lips was not hers. It was deep, layered, ancient. Obi stumbled back in fear. The fire cracked violently. The blood of your father binds you here. When they returned home, everything broke. Neka wept as though her soul had been torn open. I tried to protect you, she cried. I tried. Amaka stood still, her eyes dark and empty. What did my father do? She asked quietly. Her mother's voice trembled. Your father made a covenant,
Out of
a
desperation,
blood oath
made a covenant,
with the
made a
shrine,
blood oath with the village ancient
for wealth,
shrine.
for power, for protection.
Power.
Neka's hands trembled. But every covenant demands a price.
You are the
Amaka's breath grew shadow. And that price was you, Amaka. After that, the line between Amaka and the voice began to disappear. Sometimes she would smile without reason. Other times, her reflection would not match her expression. Once, Obi saw her standing by the river, whispering to the water. I am coming, she said softly. The elders could no longer pretend. Chief Okonkwo gathered them in secret. If the sacrifice is not completed, he said gravely, the curse will consume us all. Fear spread through the village like wildfire. There was no escape, only one choice. Obi refused to accept it. He dragged Amaka back to the shrine, his hands shaking but determined. We will end this, he said. They poured fuel over the sacred ground, struck a flame. Fire rose, but the moment it touched the shrine, the word erupted. Wind tore through the clearing, violent and wild. The fire twisted strangely, darkening, bending as though alive. Amaka screamed. Her body lifted slightly off the ground. Her eyes turned black. You cannot break what was sealed in blood. The voice rolled through her. Obi fell backward, powerless. Then, suddenly, silence. Amaka dropped. For a brief moment, she was herself again. Tears streamed down her face. If I stay, she whispered, it will destroy everything. Obi shook his head, his voice breaking. No, we will find another way. She gave a sad, knowing smile. There is no other way. The drums began that night, slow, heavy. Then, finally, Amaka walked towards the shrine alone. Her steps steady, her face calm. The wind softened, the darkness opened, and she disappeared into it. The course ended. Amaka gave up her life to save the villagers. The village breathed again. Life returned. But peace never truly came. Weeks later, a little girl wandered too close to the forest. The wind brushed gently against her skin, soft, familiar. Then a voice echoed, "Come to me." The girl turned. Her lips curled slowly into a smile, and deep within the shrine, something ancient waited. Life lessons. Some stories are not told to frighten us, but to remind us, in the quiet of that village, where the wind now blows freely again, the memory of Amaka lingers, not as a victim, but as a warning that the choices of one generation can become the burden of another. This is the end of my story. Remember, not every story ends when the video stops. See you in the next one if you're still watching. Bye.